cricket matches, and of course fixing as well. As I mentioned that this is going to be a light presentation, and I will be sharing some of my thoughts there. I would say that in the morning half there was an archive-based history, and probably the last session is going to be a media-based politics. I hope you can be entertained, and there will be some food for thought also at the same time. If you feel awkward through some of my slides, please intervene in between. Please. See this slide? Trump bringing round culture. As I told you, there will be some entertainment, there will be some food of thought. Trump is no longer the President of the United States of America, and temple is going to be inaugurated in January. But who expected that Trump is going to bring down culture? In fact, first time when I showed this article, a good friend of mine from JNU, he said, "Oh, this is fake." And it makes me a little careful when I speak from the dais. Can we go to the next please? And in my next presentation, I googled and found this, as you see, February 3rd, 2018, 6:06 Eastern Time. About 200 Indians rallied in front of the White House. It is reality, and even it is today's reality. Those who are following American politics, you would be aware that there is a Republican challenger named as Harshvardhan Singh, and there is a similar placard. It says, "Trump on asteroid." Trump on asteroid. So what Trump could not do in America, an Indian American is going to do it, and he happens to be the Harshvardhan Singh. See, my presentation is a comparative study of Indo-Caribbean in the United States and Indian diaspora in South Africa. But there is too much of Indian diaspora that has recently migrated from India. Unless we focus on them, we cannot understand Indian diaspora. In fact, often when I meet the old diaspora, they are a little hesitant. When I was conducting my research in New York City at Richmond Hill area, there is an office known as Indo-Caribbean Alliance. Young people running that organization, and when I went to meet, I met a young guy. His name is Richard David. He said, "Don't think that I'm an Indian." I said, "No, I'm not confused." This is the state of mistrust, even in New York City, that Indian Caribbean people, unfortunately, in Queens, do not identify themselves with the Indian. That raises, so many questions. That is partially true, because as an Indian, when we go to United States or go to South Africa, I'm Indian. Which place? Which state? There are always certain uncomfortable questions we ask. And that's why I'm starting this presentation by sharing some of the recent research-based information about Indian diaspora that creates this narrative. Can we go to the next one? Exactly at the same time, I will be talking about the politics, but my basic training is in history, and I don't talk anything without evidence. That was March 2017, exactly as you see, September 23, 2017, just 6 months before that. There was another protest, and that protest was by the Indo-Caribbean people. And then what they were saying? They were saying, defend Dhaka. Actually, Indian community that was, that was supporting Trump, they were against Trump. So now the question comes that Indo-Caribbean community, Indian origin people living in the United States, whose ancestors migrated from India to Caribbean, they have totally different political and economic interests than those who are directly migrated from India. And that's why question arises that before I talk about the Indo-Caribbean community in the United States or Indian community in South Africa, I would like to have brief information about Indian community that is supposedly ruling over the world. Yeah? Now we live in the era of WhatsApp University, what we call in India. Yeah? 13 CEOs. Yeah? Google to Microsoft to whichever. And on top of that, now there is another thing which we hear that okay, there was a time when British ruled over us. Now through what is the name of the gentleman who is now ruling over the England? Murthy's son-in-law, Rishi Sunak is ruling over England. And then to our biggest surprise, that Indian flag was, taken off when he was the Prime Minister. How to counter these narratives? That's a very, very challenging question before us when we talk about Indians from India and Indians whose ancestors migrated from India and now they are living in US, Canada, and UK, and so on and so forth. Here there is another very interesting character. In India and in the United States also, there is an attempt to appropriate Kamala Harris. Very recently, there was a book by Tarun Basu. Yeah, there is a book by Tarun Basu. Kamala Harris and Rise of Indian American. And he talks that until 2017, nobody knew about Kamala Harris. As soon as she becomes the Vice President of the United States of America, every Indian started appropriating. Yeah. The reason I am bringing her here in this discourse, and go to the next. This was the issue. DACA, Deferred Action and Childhood Arrival. On this issue, she was against Trump's immigration policy. And Indians who had directly migrated, what we call recently those who got the American citizenship, or those who are still NRIs, they were expecting that Trump is going to bring Ramraj. That's why I started my presentation with this slide. Here on this issue, when it comes to immigration issue, it was very clear that Indian diaspora, the recent immigrants from India, have a totally different notion of America and land of opportunities than those who migrated from Caribbean, whose ancestors had earlier migrated from India to Caribbean to work in the plantation communities. That's what is the basic argument which I'm trying to make here. Next. Here the question comes, who are those people? 2017 there was a book that got published. So most extensive research done by 3 people. Devesh Kapoor, Nirvikar Singh, Sanjay Chakrabarti. It says other 1%. Indian constitute 1% of US population. And what they are saying, that people who are visible in the United States, they are triply privileged people. Why they are triply privileged people? Their argument is that they're ambitious, urban educated, economically well off, high dominant class families. And in India, often caste and class go together. So those who what we used to call in India brain drain. Now we are talking about brainwave. Secondly, he says there was an examination system to select individuals for higher education. Yeah. You know, this is an era of Nehru bashing. Sometimes I may not be politically correct here. Well, of course, an obvious reason that when India got independence, he said all the people living in the plantation colonies, they should be loyal to their colonial masters. Yeah? We have every right to criticize Nehru. But when India's partition took place, it was the biggest human migration. 10 million people migrated. If you look from Nehru's perspective, settling down those people was probably his priority. But here there is a different connection. We can bash Nehru, he did not make, I am not his advocate, I am not Congress party's spokesperson here. I am a historian, I am a political scientist at the same time, also trying to understand history and politics both together. By we had a choice of making primary education compulsory or opening IITs. So very interesting anecdote I can share with you. The place Kendra where we stay. Two ladies, they said, oh, do you know him? The Chandrayaan landed at Moon? I said, yeah, congratulations. Professor Duj also congratulated all of us. And he said, is it because of Modi? I said, yes, I come from Benares and he is my member of parliament. Yeah, we said, we are elected. Yeah, he's my member of parliament. And that's why he's a prime minister. But Nehru did not do anything. You know, the kind of binary which is being created. I said, but the Nehru was the one who created ISRO, Indian Space Research Center. So see, it's whatever is happening outside, necessarily it has a connection with India. And that's why we cannot understand diaspora in isolation. And therefore, you see, what happens that the Nehru who had our Congress government, despite all its fault, they had started those IITs, Institute of Sciences,